Welcome, everybody. It's one of those days that we're having a long entrance, and it's a little later than normal, but that's okay. So welcome, and everybody come on in and have a seat. I'm the Catherine Rowlee, your lay leader for today, and I do want to draw your attention to some changes. I did the order of service early because it was the holiday. And in the meantime, changes happened, not big ones, but Lily is not here. As you can see, we have Anna Stafford with us today. So thank you so much for filling in for Lily. And also Robert is not here to do the story for all ages, but we're blessed to have Letha. Again, anytime we can have Letha do anything for a while, we're very grateful. So she will do the story for all ages. So. And with this, I call Letha up to give the announcements.
Good morning. I'm Letha Comstock. I'm Secretary on the Board of Trustee for MVUUC Congregation. Let's see. On Tuesday morning, December 3rd, is an executive board meeting at 10:30 a.m. here, and there will be also a Zoom link. Also Tuesday evening, Taco Tuesday, 7 p.m. online via Zoom. If you need a link, ask around. Alan could help you. On December 4th is the Spiritual Life Team meeting, 7 p.m. online via Zoom. On next Sunday, December 8th, the gifts for adoptive families need to be brought to the service and placed on the RE table or under the table. Alan's back there waving if you don't know where the RE table is. If you haven't chosen a gift yet, the names are on the table. If you have chosen a name, consider picking one or two more. There's quite a few names left. There are 13 people and 51 gift requests remaining. Now we're into mark your calendars. On December 14th, which is a Saturday, there will be a work party here. Snacks and drinks will be provided. My understanding, if you need gloves or tools or anything you might have, bring them. On the 15th, December 15th, the community team meeting will follow the service, which I believe has to do with the Christmas potluck party. And then on December 21st, there will be a Christmas potluck party, and everyone is invited to come. Now I'm going to ask Laura Mulroy to come up, and she will let you know what she's doing.
Good morning. As I hope you all know, the Green Sanctuary team is sponsoring a reusables raffle. We're encouraging everyone to bring cups and bowls and coffee mugs and water bottles from home. And every time you remember to do that, we ask you to put a ticket in this jar and you're eligible for a raffle. And today I'm going to draw the winner for November because we're going to do this every month. So, yeah. Okay, I'm not looking. And our winner is Steve Shirley. All right, Steve. So I encourage you all to enter, and maybe you can be the winner next month. And the jar from and there it is.
Yay, and for all those of you who've been doing it forever and ever and don't even think about it, be sure and put a little ticket in there. You know, I get something wonderful. Okay, so we enter into the part of the morning that is our worship service. And we do that with sounding of the bowl. We sound the bowl 3 times. Once for those who came before, once for those of us here and now, and once for those who will come. Ooh, this bowl, you are my friend. Our opening words. Amid all the noise of our lives, we take this moment to sit together, to give thanks to another day, to give thanks for all those in our lives. Whoops, I'm out of order. Not only am I out of order, I don't have my second page. So, I don't believe this. Okay, I'm going to start over. Redo, because I can. Sorry. Amid all the noise of our lives, we take this moment to sit together, to give thanks for another day, to give thanks for all those in our lives who have brought us warmth and love, to give thanks for the gifts of life. We know we are on our pilgrimage here, but for a brief moment of time. Let us open ourselves to the here and now, to the process of becoming more whole, of living more fully, of giving and forgiving more freely, of understanding more completely the meaning of our lives here on earth. And our opening song, and if you're moved, please stand, is Morning Has Broken. Wow, that was prayerful. Gave it deep meaning. And we light our chalice. I'm asking Letha to spark the flame today. Simple words. Glory be to the earth and the wind. Glory be to the sun and the rain. Glory be to animals and children. Glory be to the holy flame which calls us together as one. And let us say together our covenant of faith. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. The search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hopes in time of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. And we sing Spirit of Life. And let's just remain seated. And it is time for a story for all ages. And when we sing the children out, we don't have the music. So if we want to try an a cappella on it, so.
Our story this morning is When You Have More Than Enough, written by Dawn Star Sarah Borchelt. Once upon a time, there was a family. Maybe this family had not quite enough to eat. Or maybe they had just enough to eat. Or perhaps they had more than enough to eat. You might not have been able to tell. They might not have been able to tell. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you have enough or not. It's hard not to want more or different things than you have. In any case, this family came together one autumn day for a celebration, a feast, a time of gratitude. They gathered, as we've all done, around a table. There was food, there was drink, there were flowers to remind them of beauty. And then there was a call from the gate outside the door. "Hello, we're hungry and thirsty, and we see you have a feast. May we come in?" Well, the family didn't know at first how to answer. Who were these people at the gate? Was it safe to let these people in? Did they have enough to share? Was there room? But they remembered. They remembered that most of them had come to this family, to this celebration from somewhere else. They remembered that even they who were at the table had not always been kind to each other. They had been at times when they hurt each other. There were still times when they made each other sad or angry or afraid. There was no way to make life completely safe. They remembered times when others had shared with them, even when the others might not had quite enough of their own. They remembered when each new member of the family had been born, or come to stay, or married in. They remembered that they always had found a way to make room. And they remembered an old saying, when you have more than you need, it is better to build a longer table than to build a higher fence. We have enough, they said. We might have more than enough. We are many and strong, and we can hold a safe space here in our home for all who come. And so they went out their door and to the gate to the fence. They opened the gate. They invited the people who were there in. Inside, they pulled out another table and made space for the newcomers. They covered it with a cloth, and the newcomers sat upon a dish of something fragrant and delicious, which was strange and wonderful to the family. Everyone shared, and there was enough. I want us to notice that we only heard one part of that story. We heard the story of the people who were in the family, in the house, ready to feast. We didn't hear the story of the people at the gate wanting to come in. We don't know who they are, or why they were there, or what they bring to the table other than the strange and wonderful food. So when you hear other stories this Thanksgiving season, I want you to think about whose stories they are and whose stories they aren't, and what those other stories might have been. Now, before we sing the children out, I have a new member of the RE team that I want to introduce, Jet Pig. Well, okay, Jet Pig will fly around love, sharing the values of justice, equality, transformation, pluralism, interdependency, and generosity with the children RE. He will be in the classrooms with the children to help remind them of our UU values. Okay, now you can sing the kids out. Leave that. Yes. This is the children's chalice. Let's look at the chalice. We forgot it. Yes, it is. That's what I do.
So this is the time in our service where we take we make our Sunday offering. And our generosity supports and sustains this beloved community and our chosen community organizations. And for November and December, that's another little error in the order of service. I forgot to add December because we're trying 2 months now for most organizations, correct? Social justice? So our Share the Plate offerings will continue to go to the 111 Hope Foundation, which we've been hearing about. And if any of you are new in today, this is their website in the order of service. You can check them out. They are super worthy. So as we hear our offertory music, let's come forward with our offerings and our donations for our local food pantry. A lot of joys and sorrows. Okay, I have to think how to carry these all out. Yes, well, okay, my children's, and then handwriting. Janine and Joseph's father had a stroke Wednesday and is in the hospital on a ventilator. He is responding to commands, and the outcome is still not certain. That's from Letha Comstock. Then this is from Alan. Wow. And this one is from Jill. And I'm really sorry, Jill. I'm going to try. Prayers of concern for North Carolina, Boone, North Carolina. My friend's Lewis's home is standing, but many are still intense, and some are still missing. Let's not forget how devastated that was. And then this is from Phoebe. This is my last service here till August, as I am heading home and then to a semester abroad in London. That I will miss MVUC very much and look forward to returning for my senior year of college. So that's sort of a happy, sad, happy, exciting, and congratulations on that. This is from Echo. Oh, thank you. Today, my mom, Joan, and her fiance, Mark, are visiting from Pierre, South Dakota for Thanksgiving. They are enjoying the warmer weather. And Laura Mulray and Sean Gallagher have a big joy. Today is Laura's father's, Joe is his name, his 95th birthday. And then Debbie has put this in, and I know we share this. We all share this. We are very thankful to Anna for our music today. So, with this, let us, Megs, there's another one? Oh, the screen. Oh, let me see here. I don't have my glasses. During this past this is from Meg, Thanksgiving week, I have had much to celebrate. After 3 weeks in the hospital in August with an infection that almost took my life, and then almost 3 months in recuperation in Pilgrim's Place Health Center, I was able to come home on this past Tuesday. Our son and his wife were here for the week and helped me get settled in the house. I'm so grateful to be starting this new chapter of my life back in the big outside world. We are so full of gratitude for that too. Yay. Okay, have I missed anything else? Anybody else have something they're busting with? Okay, this is a lot of things to hold in our hearts, and let us just take all that we've heard today, and take a few slow, deep breaths as we enter into a time of meditation. Let us breathe in slowly, in, and as we breathe out, let us feel our shoulders relax. Breathing in and breathing out, we feel our hearts open. And we celebrate together the joys that have been expressed here today. And we send compassion to those who have expressed concerns or grief today. And to those among us with concerns that have not been expressed, to those of us who are full of our own grief but have not been able to share. We send our loving compassion out beyond the walls of this beloved space to the multitude of beings on earth who are suffering today, who are frightened, who are struggling. Aware that this is a very, very difficult and challenging time. In the style of our great teacher, a mindfulness meditation giver, the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, I have a meditation that follows in his style. So breathe with me as I say each phrase, and take in the words, take them into your own being, and experience them in the way that is unique to you. Breathe as you feel comfortable, but let us be in community. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I know it is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I am aware of my breath and the life energy it holds. Breathing out, I am filled with deep gratitude. Breathing in, I feel my heart beating, and I feel the life within me. Breathing out, I am grateful for the person that is me. Breathing in, I honor my ancestors and those who are my teachers. Breathing out, I am filled with gratitude. Breathing in, I feel my heart beating and I feel the life in me. Breathing out, I know that I'm very special. Breathing in, I feel the joy of the beauty I experience in daily life. Joy for the sun, the moon, the night, the day, the earth, the flowers, for music, for winds and clouds, and for all of the things that inspire me and lift me up. Breathing out, I am filled with gratitude. Breathing in, I think of all the beings I have loved and who have loved me. Breathing out, my heart swells in gratitude for love. Breathing in, I feel the presence of those who surround me, and I am reminded of my family, my friends, my companions, my community. Breathing out, I am filled with gratitude for being connected to others in so many wonderful ways. Breathing in, I am reminded of the times I have felt despair, sorrow, anger, disillusionment, disgust, and I embrace those feelings tenderly. Breathing out, I am filled with gratitude for my strength and my resilience and the opportunities such experience have provided me to learn, to grow, to deepen my compassion, to be moved to action. Breathing in, I think of all I have been able to give, to help, to heal, to serve, to create positive change. Breathing out, I am filled with gratitude for the opportunities and possibilities which await. It's from David White. Thought it was interesting. Gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within us and without us. Gratitude is not necessarily something that is shown after an event. It is the deep state of attention that shows we understand and we are equal to the gifted nature of life. Gratitude is the understanding that many millions of things come together and live together and mesh together and breathe together in order for us to take even one breath. It reminds us that the underlying gift of life and incarnation as a living, participating human being is a privilege, that we are miraculously part of something rather than nothing. Even if that something is temporary pain or despair, we inhabit a living world with real faces, real voices, laughter, the color blue, the green of the fields, the freshness of the cold wind, or the tawny hue of a winter landscape. To see the full, miraculous essentiality of the color blue is to be grateful, with no necessity for a word of thanks. To see fully the beauty of a loved one's face is to be fully grateful without having to seek a God to thank him. To sit among friends and strangers, hearing many voices, strange opinions, to intuit inner lives beneath surface lives, to inhabit many worlds at once in this world, to be someone amongst all the someones, and therefore to make a conversation without saying a word, is the deepest sense of our presence, and therefore our natural sense of thankfulness that everything happens both with us and without us, and that we are participants and witnesses at once. Thankfulness finds its full measure in generosity of presence, both through participation and witness. We sit at the table as part of every other being's world while making our own world without will or effort. This is what is extraordinary and gifted. This is the essence of gratefulness. seeing to the heart of our privilege. Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. Being unappreciative might mean we are simply not paying attention. And now I'm so excited to be able to call our speakers. I'm first to call Betsey Petit to come and share her thoughts on gratitude.
I don't know how I follow that last reading. That was the kind of thing that I was looking for a beautiful quote to help me through this. And I read Anne Lamott and I read Oliver Sacks, and just nothing seemed to just target in on that. I need to go back to the drawing board. Gratitude is a concept that's often hard for me. Not because I don't feel grateful, but rather because it seems I'm often being reminded to do so, like today. It's good for me. And not just to feel grateful, but also to consistently practice gratitude. Even though the concept of gratitude has been with us for millennia, it is only in the last couple of decades that practicing gratitude has become something pressed upon us across all kinds of media and disciplines. Sometimes I simply like feeling happy and joyful without a voice gently admonishing me that I must express gratitude for those emotions. Throughout my life, I have felt and expressed gratitude, but often in a coming through the side door kind of way. I call these my at least gratitudes. A couple of examples. When I was 7 years old, my family moved from a cozy ethnic neighborhood in Cleveland, when it was still a very big city, where we lived within a few hundred feet of the homes of my maternal grandparents, an uncle and 2 aunts and 5 cousins, to a farm 2 hours away where we knew no one, and where the lives of the farm kids at my new school, a small country school, were so different from what I'd ever known. But at least I came to love the fields, the barns, the animals, the freedom I had to explore it all on my own. And that school, which ultimately helped propel me to the National Spelling Bee. I didn't know then that I was grateful, but it finally dawned on me. And another. My parents' divorce in the early 1950s was bitter and ugly. And my sisters and I felt it really too closely. But at least our mom and dad's mutual animosity tempered over the decades to where they came together from time to time for their grandchildren's joyful life events, and finally even embraced and laughed together through their later years. There have been many such stirrings of at least gratitude in my life, often applied to hard moments and difficult situations, large and small, where I could always find at least one good thing that came from them. My at least theory of gratitude failed me. on the worst day of my life, when our beloved daughter and sister died in 2002 at the age of 28, I felt absolutely no gratitude for anything. I might have thought, at least she died at home, or at least she was surrounded by people who loved her deeply, or at least many friends visited her in her final months, or at least her hospice care gave her relief from pain and seizures. But I just couldn't acknowledge any of those things as saving graces that I could be grateful for. For me, thinking there was anything at least to be gleaned from Sarah's death would have desecrated the sacredness of her life and death. And yet, something did happen in the aftermath of Sarah's death that made it possible for me to experience without prelude or hesitation the powerful and ultimately redeeming big G gratitude. A number of things had to come together to bring me to the big G. At the time, I was working as the director of nursing for a large nonprofit agency, the ARC, serving kids and adults with developmental disabilities, or DD in the lingo, in Prince George's County, Maryland, where we also lived. Fortunately, Sarah was pretty well known to my colleagues, many of the staff in our group homes and day services programs. She participated in some, and I dragged her around when I couldn't find someone who could care for her when I had to do my home visits. There were few things also that Sarah loved more than going places by car, train, plane, or our beloved 2001 Ford Windstar. She loved seeing the sights. She loved spending time with friends and family. She just loved looking out the window, and she loved having fun and meeting new people. Now, many of the people that the ARC supported, along with their families, had little or no money left at the end of every month or week or day after paying for their basic food, shelter, and clothing. Sometimes there wasn't even enough to cover those. While the ARC helped with necessities, anything else that we think of as contributing to to our emotional health and our quality of life, like a week at the beach or even just a weekend away, a movie with friends, a week at summer camp, a faraway family reunion, going to a concert or attending a sports event, taking an art class. All these were simply out of reach. The agencies, the ARC services and supports, were mostly state-funded, with help from the county and foundation grants and modest donations from individuals and businesses. All of the agency's income was directed for the care of the folks we supported: staffing of our group homes and our day programs, family assistance, facilities upkeep, administrative costs, with little or nothing left for anything not officially essential. The CEO of the ARC was compassionate, smart, and financially creative, and blessedly, he was also my friend. Then, after Sarah died, one of my younger sisters donated $1,000 to the ARC in Sarah's memory. Pat and I wanted my sister's gift not just to be lost in the general operating funds, but rather to be the seed money for something, a fund that would be a lasting legacy to honor and remember Sarah. We met with the CEO, and thanks to him and the board of directors who approved his idea to establish the Sarah Petit Fund at the Ark, within the Ark, and supported by the Ark. And with the Ark's annual, they've been holding it for 4 years, the Ark's annual bowling bash to be transformed into the primary fundraising event for the Sarah Petit Fund. And from the proceeds of that, we would award small grants to adults and kids who were associated in some way with the Ark. It could be members, they could be part of our programs, they could be in our infant and toddlers program, they could live in our group homes, whatever, just some association. We had to kind of limit things. And we were delighted with the event because Sarah loved duckpin bowling with her friends too. Never mind that her ball took around 4 minutes minimum to reach the gutter, let alone the pins. Very dear family friends added another $1,000 to the new fund. The Ark's business associates were generous in their donations and even their participation. And a close friend of mine, a Jesuit priest who celebrated weekend masses at a local Catholic church, asked for donations to Sarah's fund at the end of the service on the 3 Sundays leading up to the bash. He always told the congregation that it was his 100-plus-year-old mother's favorite charity. And it was. It was also his. The first year, which was 2003, he collected at least $1,000 from extraordinarily generous parishioners who had not even known Sarah or our family. And he continued to do so for the next 10 years until his health no longer allowed him to do so. One of those parishioners himself lived in a group home and walked to church. He saved up his change and was proud to add it to Father Frank's collection. Not expecting a big turnout that first year, we hoped to fill about half of a 32-lane bowling alley in Prince George's County on a Sunday afternoon, as the previous generic bowling bashes had done. Instead, we were inundated with so many people wanting to participate that we filled the alley with 4 to 6 bowlers to a lane and still had to rent the alley for another Sunday afternoon of Bowling Bash Part 2. From there on, for 15 years, the Bowling Bash for the Sarah Petit Fund filled the alley for 2 Sundays every March. You can have your March Madness. We had ours. Anyone, and this was the beauty of it also, it wasn't just a fundraiser, but anybody that we supported, anybody could and did bowl. It didn't matter what cognitive or physical disabilities you had. You could participate with assistive devices like gutter guards and ball ramps and wheelchair ramps. And we always had people ready to help guide anybody. We actually had to build wheelchair ramps because I don't know, I was not a bowler, but you know, you sort of go into the well when you're at a bowling alley. You step down and go into the well there where the chairs and the lane begins. But we filled in all those wells too, so that wheelchair users weren't restricted to what lanes they could use. Every bash was filled with music, free pizza and soda and popcorn, mascots from the Baltimore Orioles and their AA farm team, the Bowie Bay Sox, friendly competition, and lots of laughter. Absolutely no one ever left in a bad mood. And they all cheered for Sarah and her fund that brought so much joy. Over 15 years, the Arcs Bowling Bash raised $250,000 for the Sarah Pettit Fund. And that, in today's dollars, that might not seem like a lot, but we're talking about a county that was not known for its wealth, and was all too often known for its poverty-stricken areas and its crime. But so $250,000 was a lot. Every dollar came from private donations, not one single dollar of public money was involved. The fund helped about 200 applicants every year with grants up to $500 to what became our motto, to go places, make friends, and have fun. They did just that, and they sent back photos of their adventures and letters telling of those things. And of how much the fund meant to them. I want to tell you that there is a video out there, and if you go on YouTube and search for Joining Hands, the Sarah Pettit Fund, you will find it. It was meant to help raise funds, and it's no longer used, of course. But I can't watch it without it bringing tears to my eyes. Eventually, though, with sad hearts, Pat and I eventually had to end our hands-on involvement with the Sarah Pettit Fund and the Bowling Bash due to distance challenges when we moved from Maryland to Ohio. We kept it up for a few years in Ohio, going back and forth and assisting remotely, but it just became too much. The Bowling Bash has continued, but without the Sarah Pettit Fund as its driving force. As for the Big G, I have profound and lasting gratitude for the Sarah Pettit Fund, the raucous, joyful bowling bashes that powered it, my generous family, and our dear friends who, pardon me, got the ball rolling, my CEO who put the strength of the ARC behind it, incredible friends, old and new, who supported the fund year after year beyond any hopes and expectations. The volunteers who gave freely of their time to help at every bash to make sure it all ran smoothly, and even the management of the bowling alley who looked forward to hosting us every year. And mostly, I'm grateful for the hundreds of people, children of all ages, adults of all ages, who, Sarah's friends, they were Sarah's friends, as we like to think of them. whose lives were truly made better by the fund. There's not one shred of at least in my gratitude for all of this. It's out there strutting around on its own with no conditions or disclaimers. The Sarah Pettit Fund and everyone who helped fulfill its mission to honor Sarah's memory and help her friends enjoy life to the fullest saved me from descending into a deep and dark hole of grief and depression. My grief for Sarah lives on within me, though I walk around with it pretty well hidden most of the time. But my gratitude also lives on, and I hope it's hidden from no one. Thank you. I just want to recognize one visitor this week, is that Becky is the, first of all, is like a sister slash mother slash best friend to a fellow for whom she is his conservator, and that's Jamie Smith. Now, he's sitting with Becky, and Jamie loves to play the piano and he loves to sing. And it was great. He caught on to so many of the words of the songs. And I'm just so happy to have him here on this particular Sunday.
I don't have any words, and except to say now, Lynnmaria.
Hello. When Reverend Maggie asked me to speak about gratitude, I took pause and carefully considered what I would share with you. I have so much to be thankful for, especially when I think of the context of having been born in Canada to two citizens of the United Kingdom, meaning into the Western world as opposed to a third world country. I'm going to share one of my seminal experiences. On October 11th, 1989, 35 years ago, I had season tickets to the LA Kings hockey team, and it was an exciting time in LA and ice hockey as Wayne Gretzky had just joined the team. My sister Sandy and I had just exited the Kings hockey game back when they played at the Inglewood Forum. We were crossing the 6-lane street to the parking lot when I noticed an old Buick Electra barreling through the crosswalk 5 lanes across from us. Just as I was thinking we were safe, the driver pulled on the steering wheel and headed straight for us. I pushed my sister out of the way, but she was still struck in her head by the side mirror of the car. I went to jump on the hood of the car, but I didn't jump in time. I slid under the car, and my oversized Kings jersey got caught under the undercarriage. I got dragged for 60 feet, never lost consciousness the whole time watching that wheel going around under the car, wondering why the heck won't this car stop? When it finally did hit the curb and stopped, a man yelled at me and told me to stay put. About 20 men got around the car and actually lifted it off of me with the driver still in it. The 35-year-old woman driver was inebriated from a combination of alcohol and cocaine. She had no brakes on the vehicle, and she knew it. Later on, when the police were talking to her and doing their investigation, she said she thought she could just get across town in this car with no brakes. But remember, she was inebriated. My sister was transferred down the street to Daniel Freeman Hospital. She coded 3 times, suffered 2 blood clots in her head, for which she had to undergo a craniotomy. The accident happened right outside the tunnel of the Forum, and there were paramedics at the ready for the game, so they were immediately upon the scene. The speed of their arrival and close location of Daniel Freeman Hospital all assisted to saving her life. But due to the surgery, she did suffer permanent loss of her sense of taste and smell and suffers from short-term memory loss. I mean, just to say that in a sentence is, it's just to paint a story. I mean, going through your whole life without the joy of being able to taste and smell. I was transported across town to UCLA Medical Center Trauma Unit, which was fortunate as nothing short of a trauma unit could save my life. My ear was severed to the lobe. I had deep puncture wounds on the side of my face and scalp, 4 fractures of my cervical vertebrae at 4, 5, 6, and 7, fractured scapula and clavicle, the spiral fracture of my arm, the one that was caught under the car, 8 fractured ribs. My pelvis was fractured in 3 places. I had a punctured bladder, and both lungs were collapsed. While in the ER, the doctors were explaining the grave nature of my injuries and indicated I would not be able to have a baby. All I cared about at this time was living. And so I asked them, am I going to live? And they said, well, we don't know. You just hang in there. I was paralyzed from the neck down for the first week of my 4-week hospitalization. It was unknown if it was due to swelling all over my body or the cervical fractures interfering with my spinal cord, which had some nicks in it. Thankfully, it was from the swelling. My parents were besides themselves with grief, as you can well imagine, having both daughters in different ICUs, near death, 10 miles across town from each other, all the while living in Azusa. As well as my parents, my boyfriend at the time, George, whom I later married, became my lifeline, spending countless hours at my bedside along with my best friend Kathy, who had just lost her mother the year before, was grief-stricken, thinking she was going to lose her best friend as well. After an additional 2 weeks at Casa Colina for rehab, I was released home in a full body brace. Sandy and I both defied the odds and survived. That's the picture of me with my brace in the hospital. I have one leg shorter than the other, chronic pain in my neck, back, and knee, scars on the side of my face, clumps of hair missing on my scalp. But I think you could agree that we're very resilient. The drunk driver never showed or shared any remorse for her actions. Mothers Against Drunk Driving LA assisted my parents through the offender's court proceeding, which I was so thankful for, as I couldn't attend due to my injuries. The offender was sentenced to 2 years in state prison. Again, this was 35 years ago, so by today's standards, the sentence would be far longer because the drunk driving laws have changed and have become more strict. I looked death in the eye and survived subsequent to this life-altering surreal event. When I was able to walk, I returned to a Kings hockey game 3 months later. When walking across that same crosswalk, we noticed a chalked outline of a body on the asphalt. It was my body from the accident. The crossing guard told us a woman died there. I explained to him that wasn't the case. I was very much alive. My mother, sister, and I became speakers for Mothers Against Drunk Driving LA as a way to pay them back for all the assistance they rendered my parents during the court case against a drunk driver and to advocate their mission to get educated, not incarcerated. Eventually, I served as the president of MAD LA. George and I got married. However, due to the injuries I sustained in the accident, I was unable to have a biological child. We did adopt a beautiful baby boy from birth. I even got to cut his umbilical cord. We named him Joseph Evan Bazan. Isn't he a cute baby? From the agony and pain of the accident, we found beauty, our son Joseph. I have so much gratitude for that, and it would not have happened had I not experienced the life-altering anguish, pain, and physical scars of the accident. That's his first Christmas with Santa. Out of despair and pain, my life was restored. A union was created, a son born. From tragedy, like a phoenix, I found peace, marriage, motherhood, and an amplified appreciation for life and living. Joseph is our pride and joy. He is an outstanding athlete. He played soccer and ran track and field in high school, is an accomplished musician. He plays keyboards for a couple of rock bands and played the violin throughout his high school years in his high school orchestra. He is 27 now, has a successful career driving a tanker truck hauling fuel, one of our essential workers, and lives in Ontario. I wish he could have been here today, but he had to work and he's so busy. But I'm going to get him here on another day when it's a Saturday. This is one of the last family pictures taken with George. Note how he and Joseph look alike. We entered them in the father-son look-alike contest at the LA County Fair when Joseph was 5. It was so cute. They both had their angel jerseys on, and they won first place. You don't have to be they didn't say anything about biological father-son. What a crack up, right? I was able to go on with my life after the accident, but that does not mean I've in any way been impervious to the human experience, which has included further triumphs, happy times, victories, a wonderful and accomplished career, but conversely, the grief of becoming a widow and losing people to the passage of time. Joseph was just recently wed to his longtime girlfriend, Chelsea. Their dream wedding was a country western themed wedding, and it was full of fun, laughter, and love. This picture, next picture, is the picture of his birth parents. Christine and Tony, along with their daughter Brittany, who is Joseph's full sister, she's only 11 months older than him, were invited to the wedding. We have kept in touch with them over the years. They live in Redlands, and Joseph asked if they can be invited to the engagement party and the wedding, so why not? They gave us the most beautiful, the most precious present a person could ever receive. In summation, I've continued my life journey. I found love again with Murray. Joseph and Chelsea are enjoying their newlywed life. My mother, who Murray refers to as Lady Spitfire, thrives. I have family happiness, love, and continuity in my life. That's pretty good. And for that, I'm grateful. That's my sister next to my mother.
Yeah, what beautiful gifts you gave us today, both of you. Thank you so much from deep, deep, deep in my heart, and I know all of you feel the same way. You just never know what's going to come. What a magical day. So let us rise and sing our closing song, which I like to include this. This was Nick Livingston's favorite, one of his favorites. So it's full of gratitude. So a little upbeat. Well, you did good, you guys. And thank you to everybody here today. Let us say our covenant, our closing words together. We in benediction, and as we extinguish our chalice, let us say these words. We hold the light of this chalice in our hearts. As we extinguish it today, it will continue to burn brightly within us, helping to guide us on our path until we meet again. Go in peace. May our hearts be full.